I'm Henry Joe Murphy, aka Henry Joe Solo, Henry and the Seahawks. Really, they don't. The copyright law is something that is absolute. That as soon as you fix something to a medium like a tape or a CD or any kind of fixed audio medium that can be played back, there's a copyright that applies to it. You're supposed to follow a certain procedure, which would be to first somehow fix it to such a medium, record it onto something digitally or on analog tape. And then you're supposed to, write the lyrics out, and then there's a Form PA that you fill out, send to the United States Copyright Office, and then you've got a copyright of that material. So really, whether you're just a little guy playing in a coffee shop or whether you're playing in arenas or stadiums, the same rights and the same laws apply to either artist. A cover musician, what's supposed to happen in the case of people playing cover songs in bars and whatnot is the bar is generally visited by one of the copyright tribunals, meaning SESAC or BMI or ASCAP. These are the three major copyright tribunals which collect royalties for publishers to pay all the artists. So what will happen in the case of like some of the local restaurants here in St. Augustine, Florida, let's take Oasis for instance, they would be visited by somebody who would say, hey, if you're going to play music in your bar and restaurant for people to eat and drink to and have guys up there playing hit songs by John Cougar Mellencamp or Jimmy Buffett, then you need to buy a license from ASCAP or SESAC or BMI. Each of them would go in there, and the owner or proprietor of that establishment would buy the license and put that sticker on. They renew it every year, so they're covered that way. That's how royalties are made off of bars and restaurants for cover music. Generally, when I make a record, just as to show benevolence to certain artists, I might choose a cover song or two to record on a record because it's my way of saying thank you to that artist for the kind of influence they had on me. For instance, I recorded Sailing by Christopher Cross, which was a big hit in the 70s, and another song by an artist named Stephen Bishop called On and On. And what you do in that case is you license the song. So you track down their publishing company, which you can do online, look up the song, find out the publisher, and then you go through a company called the Harry Fox Agency, and you pay a mechanical license to record that song. And then they'll ask you when you're doing the mechanical license for Harry Fox, they'll ask you how many units you think you might sell, and there's a varying scale. But if you're just a little guy, playing local gigs, it's not very expensive at all, and you get a license for it that covers X amount of years and X amount of units. So it's a licensing issue.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing any artist can do, any young artist or anybody getting in the music business can do is just take a simple course on copyright law or buy a book. There's some very good books out there. This Business of Music is one of the leading texts, which you can find at any major bookstore or Amazon. But primarily what you want to do is even a place like LegalZoom will help you with doing your own copyrights. So you should always copyright your music. That means you should, even if it's the most, even if it's just a little, old cassette deck that you record your song onto with a microphone or a phone, anything that you can make a file of and send to the Copyright Office and write out, and you put your copyright symbol, which is a C in a circle and a date in your name. Then that is, then you want to send that to the Copyright Office, and you have to pay them a small amount with each one. I think it's like $25. And then they will eventually send you back a piece of paper, saying we received this, and they'll give you your copyright notification, which will have a number on it, so that way that your song is copyrighted. But it's not something that you want to play with, because it really can be stolen. And once intellectual property is stolen, it's very difficult to ever be compensated for it again. And somebody's likely to be able to make a fortune off of a great idea or a great hook for a song.